3 steps, 4 steps. Sound in speed, camera in speed, and action! Welcome to another Create Greg video. My name is Greg, and in today's episode we will talk about ND filters, natural density filters. We use them to reduce the amount of light going through our lens to sensor. And one of the most popular ND filters recently become variable ND filters, the one you can put at the top of your lens, and by twisting it you can change the amount of stops. As easy as it sounds. The drawback, most of them are fairly rubbish. The good one from Polar Pro, Peter McKinnon version, they can be fairly pricey. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with using old good single ND filters? Last week we've been talking about how to set the exposure by manipulating aperture, ISO and shutter speed. We thought as well how to judge the exposure by using zebra, false colors and waveforms. So today we will talk about these ND filters and actually how to calculate them to know which one you're supposed to put on your lens, which one equals how many stops. When I started my adventure with video, I decided to buy a bunch of them to save some money. One of them I bought was ND1000 because I thought like, yeah, 1000 sounds good. Which turned out 1000 is 10 stops. And it's highly unlikely in video you will need to reduce the amount of light by 10 stops. It's good for photography, but I had no idea. I thought like, yeah, I can buy one of them. And then I thought like, how do you calculate them? Like, what does it mean 1000? What does it mean 32? So yeah, let's talk about it, how to get the right one and how to make the most of them in practice. Imagine a lovely sunny day. All your camera batteries recharged, you are ready to get that epic footage on that day. You set your aperture to 2.8, you look into monitor and everything is overexposed. What can you do in that case? Like, you can close down your aperture to reduce the amount of light going through lens, but you will lose that shallow depth of field we all love. What else you can do? You can crank up your shutter speed, but that would be even worse idea because then you will need to break 180-degree rule, which will damage your motion blur and your picture would look, let's call it, rubbish, not cinematic. No, actually, rubbish sounds more accurate. We can use ND filters to reduce the amount of light, but what kind of ND filter we can get? The simple way to figure it out, if you do not have variable one, you're supposed to start closing the aperture and count how many stops you close. Just imagine you close the aperture, you look at the monitor, you look at the scopes, false colors, whatever you are using, and you see the exposure is right. So you count how many stops you close between 2.8 and the one you are right now. Knowing how many stops you are down, now you can take one of the ND filters which is equivalent of the amount of stops you close, put on your lens, open the aperture to 2.8 and here we go. The only thing is you will not find the amount of stop numbers on your fixed ND filters. You've got numbers like 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and so forth. And the way how you count them is that easy. If you think about math and how you calculate something to the power of something, you have to remember one thing. Every single ND filter is count from the number 2. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So ND4 will be 2 to the power of 2. The power of 2 means it's 2 stops down. Let's go further. 8 is 2 to the power of 3. So ND filter 8 will be the power of 3 with 3 stops down. Then we will go to 16. 16 is 2 to the power of 4. 4 stops down. 32, it's 2 to the power of 5. It's 5 stops down. I think you got it at the moment. What you have to know, 2 to the power of watt, and this watt will be stops. Once you know the stop, then you can calculate now which kind of ND is equivalent of the amount of stops. I told you, it's as easy as it sounds. So now you know how to use with your lens. The other even more useful of being able to calculate stops is when I'm using my drone. The trickiest part with the drone, because you cannot manipulate with the ISO. Most of these DJI drones can operate just only with the ISO 100. Of course you can go for 200, 400. The thing is, the amount of noise you will get because of that is unbearable, so you have to stick to one ISO. You cannot manipulate the shutter speed to keep the 180 rule, so you have to know what kind of ND you can use. And this one is different because you cannot close aperture in your drone, but what you can do, you can manipulate shutter speed, and based on that you can calculate what kind of ND you're supposed to put on your drone. I show you how to do it in practice. Let's go to this sunny beach right now. One stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops. One stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops. I hope you found today's video valuable. If yes, considering leaving a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the drone shots, feel more than welcome to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me and definitely help to grow as a creator. If you didn't like it at all, I'm glad you stay until the end. Appreciate that. And I've got good news for you. Next week I'm going to post another video, so come back and see whether you would like this one. Until next week.